Hello, I'm Dan. My wife is Debbie, and we want to tell you how much we appreciate you renting our Thor Compass. Now, this is a Thor Compass 23TW. If you want to look up, find some videos and so forth. I'm going to give you a tour of our compass, and I'm mainly going to try to show you things and send you this video so you'll be able to have access to some of the more crucial areas, and I'll send you a table of contents for the video. That way you can look up and see how different parts of it work, and if you get stumped along the way, you'll be able to use this for reference. So let's get started. As you come into the front door, you'll find the command center for the RV, and it has a number of features on here that control various aspects. One thing is down here at the bottom, you find the 1, 2, 3, 4. These are lights, and so if I push that on, you can see a light coming on in the dining area. This is on in the kitchen area. This is on in the bedroom area. This is the bathroom. Now, you really don't need that one because there's a light switch in the bathroom itself. If you touch the command center, you get a screen here, and go ahead and turn some of these lights off so we don't have a reflection. And you can see over here on the left, there's a number of icons. This home brings you to a screen that gives you some general information about different areas, but there's one here is a droplet for the water. This is for motors. This is for your temperature, your air conditioner, heater. These are for your lights, and since we've already looked at lights, I'll show you this. This gives you an opportunity to dim lights or increase them. This is the energy center where you can turn on the generator, and you might be able to hear I have the generator on right now, and these are fans. Let's touch this water droplet here, which takes us to the panel which deals with the water inside the RV. Now, to understand about the water, we need to first tell you that there are two ways of getting water to your faucets, to the commode, shower, etc. in the RV. One is to use the tank that's in the RV, which we call the fresh water tank. As you can see, it's showing empty. We'll put some water in that for you for your trip. That way you can stop by a rest area and actually use the restroom in the RV if you want to. You can also wash your hands. Need a little water in there to start out with. Some people will use the RV at a situation where they are not hooked up to water outside, and they will need to have this full to be able to use it, and that's what we call boondocking, where you're not hooked up to electric or water and so forth. Now, to use the water in the fresh tank, this water pump has to be on. All right. The other way you can have water supplied to your RV is to hook up to the faucet outside. I'll show you that in just a moment. But we hook up to what we call city water, and that's where you go to an RV park, you park there, and they will have a faucet. You'll take a hose that's supplied here in one of the back bays, and you will hook it up to that faucet and to a special connection on the side. And again, we'll show you that in a moment. As you can see, there's also some other information here. You won't have to worry about the tank heaters unless you are in really, really cold weather. If you're in weather where it's going to be freezing or close to freezing, you need to possibly turn on the tank heaters, and so the tanks do not freeze up. Normally, that's not going to be the case. You can also see there's what's called a gray tank and a black tank. Now, these are your sewage tanks. The gray tank are your sinks, your shower. Those are the water, which basically is going to end up being a little bit dirty and soapy water. The black tank is what comes out of the toilet. And you will need to empty those. Probably if you take 2 showers in a day, you're probably going to need to, 2 people take a shower. In other words, there's 2 showers in one day. You probably are going to have this gray tank pretty much full, and you're going to need to do what we call dump. And that's get rid of the water in the gray tank and the refuge in the black tank. Let's take a look outside, and I'll show you how these tanks hook up, how the water hooks up, and you'll understand this even better. When it comes to water, there's a number of items that you need to be aware of back here. First of all, in this same bay where we have the electric, there are 2 hoses. You can see this hose and the one underneath. This hose is going to be for your city connection, and we'll look at that connection in a moment. By the way, there's some gloves you can use when you're dumping, and that will be helpful to you. The bottom hose will be what you'll use when you dump. So let's first talk about supplying water to the RV that you can use in your sinks and shower. That top hose that's in there would go into here. As you can see, that's just a screw-in connection. Then the other end would go in the faucet at your RV slot. There'll be a faucet there. You'll plug in the other end, you'll plug in this end, you'll turn on the water, and that will give you a supply of water to your RV. Make sure then you turn off the water pump on the screen where I showed you earlier. That supplies water to the RV and gives you the pressure you need while you're in an RV park. I told you about the fresh tank, and here's where you actually fill the fresh tank. So if your fresh tank gets too low, just take a hose and put it in here, turn the faucet on, and you can fill it up as far as you want. If you want to, you can fill up all the way. You know it's full all the way when water comes out of here because it overflows. By the way, if you fill up all the way, the water will also overflow and leak onto the ground, but don't worry about that. That is normal. So once that's done, I'm going to close that up. Normally we'll keep this closed to keep dust out of it, and there are your water connections. The other main water connection that you have to be concerned about are the sewer connection where you want the dump. And you take this black key, or if we happen to give you a set with a gray key, bottom line, it's not the purple key. You'll get into this sewer connection, and you need to be aware of that. If you're going to dump, you'll be dumping your black and gray tanks, the sewage. You need to first take this out. Then we can look in here and see what's going on. You can see there's a connection here. There's a lid right here that unscrews. So we can go ahead and try to get that unscrewed. And then there's also two levers, a black lever, that's for the black tank, and a gray lever, that's for the gray tank. The sequence is this. We're going to hook up this hose here. We're going to take the bottom hose in there and hook it up to a faucet, to a connection right here. This Santee flush connection, we're going to hook in the bottom hose to that, all right? And the other end's going to be hooked up to a faucet. So you're going to have this white hose down in the bottom there, hooked up to that and your faucet. You're going to have this sewer hose hooked up in there. You'll come up this way and hook it up in there. Again, take this cap off and then attach that on. So it'll be leading out through there, and the other end will be down into the sewer, which should be right there, close to the faucet, close to the electric. All that should be in your RV park. Once you have the water hose connected to the back and this sewer pipe connected in there and in here, next turn on the water to the back. What that does is it flushes out the black tank. It flushes your black tank, helps clean it out. Then pull this lever. Make sure that your sewer hose is connected in there. Make sure this end is connected into the sewer, and pull that lever towards you. When you pull that lever towards you, the sewer will come out, flow down, and you'll be able to see it actually going in there. If you have somebody that hold their foot on this, or if you put a rock on this, generally I haven't had too much trouble with this popping out, but you really don't want that to pop out and get stuff everywhere. So that's usually helpful too. Sometimes just close enough, I can get it started, pull the black tank, and then just turn around and hold it myself without any problem. It works a lot better once it's down into an actual sewer pipe. It's nice and secure. It doesn't wobble like that. The water's flushing in the back. It's flushing through the tank. The sewage is coming through the pipe. Sometimes I'll kind of give it a little help to help it kind of drain in. And at some point, finally, you'll see some clear water start to go through here, meaning that the sewage is pretty much gone, and the water that's coming through your hose in the back is filling this up. Once you feel like you've finished that black tank, turn the water off in the back. All right, you're done with that. Once you do turn that off, you can push this black in, push it all the way in. Then pull the gray knob, the gray lever out, all the way out, and the gray tanks will empty. It'll take a few minutes for them to empty, but let them empty completely into the sewer. Once that's completely done, push that lever completely in. When you have both levers in and you feel like you're finished, unhook it from here. You will pull it down to the bottom, and then you can lift it up and keep lifting and lifting until you get all the water drained and all the sewage drained into there. Once that's done, you can put your cap on here. There, dropped off. I'm going to put that cap back on. There's a little cord there. You have to make sure it's not going to get in your way. You can put this lid back in, and don't worry about screwing that in too tight. It's really hard to get off if you do. Just get a little bit snug. Push this all the way in, and once you get that all the way in, you can lock this up, and you're done with dumping. All right, so that's good. If you want to, there's a little shower here. It's called a shower, but it's really just a faucet with a little wand that you can use to wash your hands off with. Got hot and cold, you could bring paper towels and soap, and you could wash up with that if you want to. All right? Unhook your hose from the back and from the faucet, put it back in the bay, and you're done with dumping. Let's go ahead and push this icon, which is the energy icon. It shows you the battery level, and it gives you an opportunity to start and stop the generator. We have the generator on right now because we are not hooked up to 30 amp here, and you can start the generator by holding this down. You can stop the generator by holding that down, and you can set this for auto generator. Now let me explain what that is. If you're going to be away from the RV for a fairly good period of time, a few hours, you will want to hit this auto generator. If the battery level gets to a certain point, that auto generator will cause the generator to come on and then charge the battery back up. You really don't want the battery to go too low. Since we're talking about electricity, let's go around to the other side and show how to hook up the electric. Okay, I'm out here at night. I inadvertently deleted my video about the electric cords, but in the same bay where the water hose is, you'll find an electric cord. What you want to do is plug this into the side of the RV, and it only goes in one way. It plugs in and then twists a little bit to the right, and it'll be secure. Then get that in, and then take this end to the electric box at your RV site. And it's a 3-prong connection. Make sure the breaker's off. Plug this into your connection, your breaker box, turn the breaker on, and you should have electric power to your coach. Now I want to show you what this looks like. I've got another connection here with just a 110 volt, but it's very, very similar. It goes in, makes that small twist, and when you have it on, you'll have to see that light. And that's when you'll know you have electric. Again, this is 110. It really doesn't run the AC unit very well. You really need the 30 amp cord. But if you'll plug that blue plug with the black cord into here, and then plug the other end into your electric box, turn the breaker on, you should be good to go. Let's look at this icon right here, which are the motors, and we will show you when you pick up the RV. This puts the awning in and out. These put the stabilizers jack up and down. And when you get this, the right stabilizer jack may not be able to be used here. That's a warranty thing that we're hoping to get fixed soon. It may be fixed by the time you see this. If it's not, let me mention just that mainly you want to make sure this one's lowered before you put the slide out. The left jack needs to be down before the slide's out. We did not use the right jack much on our vacation. It is more for stability. It's not that big of a deal, but there will be a ratchet and a socket in the bay underneath the slide that you can use to put that down manually if you like. The main item on here are these slides. And again, we'll show you how to do that. As you can see, there's a little yellow dot there, meaning you cannot put the slides out right now. And the reason you can't is because the engine's not on. You have to turn the engine on, and you have to make sure the parking brake, which is down there, a lever, a handheld lever right beside the driver's seat. Once you do that, then you can hold these in. It'll say retract and extend. You can either retract the slide all the way or extend the slide all the way. And once the engine's on and the parking brake's on. You want to make sure the jack is down if the slide is out. So wait till you bring that slide all the way in before you bring that jack up in at the end. Sometimes these slides are finicky. So if the slide stops, let's say you're bringing the slide in and it stops, go ahead and push the other button and make it go out a little bit and then try to bring it back in. Sometimes that will do it. Sometimes if you just stop and push the same button again, it'll keep coming. If for some reason it just will not work, and especially if this yellow circle comes on, go turn off the engine, turn it back on, come back and try it again. Many times that will do it. If that doesn't work, there's a third situation that you'll need to do. That's if nothing else will work. Again, keep trying it here back and forth, turn the engine off, off and back on. Try that 2 or 3 times. If nothing else works and the slide just still will not cooperate, then you'll need to do a special trick underneath the slide in the bay down there, and I'll show you how to do that next. Hopefully you won't have to do that. We were on a trip for 3 weeks and never had to do it, but just in case, I want to show you how that's done. If the slide is out and you can't get it in, you've tried all the tricks that I told you, you'll have to get into this bay. I'll leave this mat in that bay for you so you'll have something to kneel on, because it is a little tight to get underneath here. And I'm going to go under here and open this up. All right, once we open this up, you can see that there is a controller back here. That is the controller for the slide. Now, interestingly enough, I have what looks like a toothbrush, which is really a cleaning brush. But the reason why I have it is because it has this point. It's a nice, soft, well, it's not real soft, but a plastic point. Don't use anything sharp, don't use anything metal. This controller is not cheap, and you can really mess it up if you do it the wrong way. So you've got to just use this and you'll be fine. Now, if you can see in here, there is a button right there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's actually a button right up inside that thing. And if I take this and push that button, a light will come on. Did you see that? And if I do that 6 times, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then if I hold it in until the lights flash, I'm holding it and they start flashing. That bypasses the system. Now, if you try to push you go back in and do the either extend or retract, whichever one wasn't working, it should work at that time. That's the trick if nothing else works.